the Radical World Finals at Yas Marina. The green flag's flying, and already, look, what is that? 5, 6, 7, 8 wide. Cars off into the wall. Racing hard and fast.
Hello everyone, welcome to race number 1 for the Golf Radical Cup, round 3 of their championship, proudly brought to you by Golf Sport Racing here at the wonderful Yas Marina circuit. My name is Phil Anson and joined in the commentary box today by Chris Melbourne. Hello Chris.
Hello and good afternoon. Fantastic to be back here at the Yas Marina circuit. We just saw the highlights of the Radical World Final a couple of months ago. What an incredible event it was.
Oh, look, and what made it even more special for us here in the Middle East is we had 2 local drivers winning championships there. And Ian Aguilera, he was first in the 1500 Pro 1500 series, racing today under car 17. And Alim Geshev, he won the platinum class, the main class. Unbelievable stuff from that fantastic series that ran here in November last year.
It was fantastic to see over 30 of the best Radical drivers descend upon the Yas Marina circuit. And the drivers from the Golf Radical Cup really showed how good they truly are.
Yeah.
They don't get to go on the global stage very often, but when they do, they show what they're capable of. And as you said before, Phil, 2 of them top tier, platinum and 1500. And we had some of our local drivers here, like Usman Magal, actually win heat races against some of the best in the world. Best
Radical drivers from all over the planet gathered here in November for the Radical World Finals. And yeah, we sort of stamped our authority of this championship, which has been running here since 2006. And the various, using the SR3 Radical of its various guises. And the car that we're using today, the majority of the cars out there are the SR3 Radical XXR. We've got 14 of them. They're the latest spec of these cars. There you can see one on the screen of Ian Aguilera's. 1.5 litre 4-cylinder RPE engine, dry sumped. 232 horsepower. It weighs only 630 kilos, so they're not very much in there. They've got a Gen V ITB induction system, 6-speed sequential gearbox, paddle shift with auto blip on the downshifts, Quaife LSD, Life Racing Bespoke ECU, purposely made for this car. And talking to some of the F3 drivers that have driven these cars, it's got F3 levels of downforce. These are a real slicks and wings car, apart from looking absolutely stunning on the grid here at Yas Marina circuit.
And they're an absolute blast to drive from what I hear from the drivers every single week that we go racing. Here's Alim Geshev. He was our platinum winner overall in the Radical World Finals a couple of years ago. He's a championship contender this season. He was 3rd overall last time out. We were racing for 22 and 23. 23 and 24. Where is the year gone already?
I don't know.
A very rapid driver indeed. He was extremely quick, but he had a different car actually that he's racing here during the Golf Radical Cup. He had the SR10.
Yes.
So there's a big difference between the 2 of the cars. There's actually a very big speed difference between them. Jack Yang, great to see him as well back here in the Golf Radical Cup. Another one of those championship hopefuls. But at the moment, the championship battle is between Ian Aguilera and the 77, and they line up behind each other because we've got Ian Aguilera on pole position, the Mexican, and then behind him is Alim Geshev in the TT Racing 77. Zig Furmeister back in the championship. We did see him out during the Radical World Finals, but he did miss the previous round. But it's great to have him back here because he's certainly been one to watch out for here. But the real one that we want to watch out for is where the camera should be going next. Indeed, it does, to the left-hand side. Alexander Nochikov, he did not have the best Radical World Finals, that's for sure. Everything that could have gone wrong, unfortunately, didn't go his way, and he was celebrating his birthday, but he had one of, if not the biggest support groups ever. It was an entire fan base cheering him. They had the shirts. It was his birthday. He had a fantastic race weekend.
Yeah, he's currently running 4th in the championship on 43 points. 2 rounds of this championship already been done at the Dubai Autodrome, and this is their first venture down to the Yas Marina circuit. You can see the TTR crew, a local-based team here, also running in the 6 hours and ran last weekend in the 24-hour. Busy weekend for the Dubai-based team.
Of course, and for Craig Thomas, he's going to be running up and down pit lane, isn't he? Good thing he isn't going to go to the support paddock, because that would be even worse for him. But yeah, he's a very busy man here this weekend. As we move further through the field, we've got a wealth of talent. We've got 19 cars here this weekend.
It's the biggest grid we've had for a very long time, and I think some of the drivers did stay over from the World Finals and left cars here.
They have indeed, because Greg Gorski, who raced in the Radical World Finals, is here with us this weekend.
And doing double duty, running in the 6 hour like he ran in the 24-hour last weekend.
And he is one of 2 drivers in the field that are doing double duties, because Johnny Kazuma's also decided that he wants a taste of endurance racing and is having an absolute blast out there.
Unbelievable stuff. There's Ibi Hadid in the 22 car. Currently 10th in the championship, running out of the Golf Sport banner. 14 points so far in the championship. But very close racing. It's literally a one-make championship. There's Greg there for Golf Sport Racing, the American. Lots of track time for Greg this weekend. He's got qualifying coming up this afternoon for the Michelin 6 hours of Abu Dhabi, running alongside massive support, or massive amount of categories running here this weekend. We've got Renault Clio Cup, we've got Formula 4 Middle East, we've got Formula Regional Middle East, Radicals, and the 6 hour, 50 plus grid on the 6 hours.
It is an insane race weekend here. We started at 9 o'clock this morning. We're going to end at 11:30. Our final podium is going to be at midnight, and then we do it all again tomorrow with the Michelin 6 hours of Abu Dhabi. But what an incredible lineup of cars here. Just come out to Greg Gorski quickly. Yep. He's actually raced in the exact same car that he rented out here last year when he raced with us. And he had an issue during qualifying as well. The engine went on his car, and that's why we stopped him at Parc Ferme. Yep. Well, not stopped him, but that's why he was stopped down there. The team have done a magnificent job to get that car up and running again, and I know Greg's going to have an absolute blast here. Alim Geshev also had a few issues here and there during qualifying this morning. Wasn't up to the speed that he would have liked it, and the team have done a fantastic job to get that car up to standards that Alim wants, because Alim is here fighting for a championship, and of course he's been coached this weekend by James Winslow, who would have liked to have a seat, but he's decided, as with Alim Geshev, who's not focusing on the 24-hour, they are focusing on what's at hand here. They are focusing on the championship title here. As we're going through the grid, we've got Usman Magalo's actually a little bit further up the field. He's actually in second position there. He's on the left-hand side of the screen, and alongside him is Alim Geshev.
Just going through, while that goes through on the screen, we have 3 races here this weekend. That's how their series runs on each weekend. We have 2 25-minute sprint races, and then we have a 45-minute mini enduro with a mandatory pit stop. Now, the drivers can score on their finishing positions, their qualifying position, and their fastest lap as well. So, and they get to drop rounds alongside of that as well. So, a good chance to redeem yourself if you've had a bad weekend with the dropping of rounds. But Golf Sport, with the many years they've had running this championship, have got this really sorted out. Whereas you can come in at the second round and still do okay when we get up to round number 7, which will be the final round this year.
And also the final round also gives you double points as well. So that's a round that you really want to get things nailed down, because that could be the one that makes or breaks a championship there at the end. So the safety car pulls off. The cars will now make their way. There's Usman Magal on the 21. Ian Aguilera hasn't got going just yet, so he's all right there with the 17. Very unusual to see Ian Aguilera there have an issue. I hope he can get that car refined, because he's going to be one to watch out for. He does get going.
Now, the entire field hasn't passed him, so we can retake his position as we head away from the start-finish line. We've still got one car back there that hasn't got off the line.
That's Marcel Kopp.
And he is now off the line.
Marcel Kopp, one of 2 drivers, actually one of a handful of drivers here that are actually in the championship for the first time. He's got a lot of experience driving, but not racing. And it's great to have him here at the championship. He had his first taste of Radical World Finals, really enjoyed himself, and he's been having a fantastic time here as well in the Golf Radical Cup. The other driver who is really one to watch out for, as I said before, is Alexander Novichkov. He is second in the national class at the moment. yes, everything's not really gone the way he'd like it to, but when things get going, he is rapid indeed.
Oh, he is.
He lines up on the third row of the grid alongside Zig Vermeister in that TT Racing car, the number 8. So keep a very close eye on Alexander Novichkov. So the entire field has gone through now onto the back straight. It will be a rolling start here as Ian Aguilera will retake his position at the front of the field here. So it'll be him alongside Usman Magal. Then we go back and see Alim Geshev with Jack Yang alongside for company, Zig Vermeister, Alexander Novichkov, Amir Faison, who's been doing this for a very long time, a seasoned veteran, a race winner as well, so he knows exactly what to do, and being coached by a former champion in the likes of George King here this weekend. Then we see Julien Monet with Perry Jeramas and Ibi Hadid rounding out the top 10. I've just noticed that Greg Gorski actually starts outside of the top 10. Yeah. He's also going to be one to watch in that 24.
Indeed he is. If you're not familiar with this circuit, we're on the full Grand Prix circuit at Yas Marina circuit here. 5.281 kilometres, 16 corners, 9 left and 7 right, running in an anti-clockwise position. They're just going past to the support pits now. That's where the Formula 4 Middle East and Formula Regional Middle East are parked up this weekend for their mammoth starting of the season this weekend, and they just run weekend to weekend to weekend before they finish their respective championships here in Wanderop unit. This is the new Turn 9, which was restructured in, I think, in 2021 that we had the changes to the circuit, and those cars can run side by side through that gently banked circuit, gently banked corner, as they make their way down to the tricky part of the circuit. Now this is turns 10, 11 and 12, and 12 is the 90-degree right-hander that takes them down alongside the hotel. There's a good opportunity for overtaking here in a radical, but you've got to get it all right coming into that corner, which is in the distance there as the cars make their way. Now they're going to start forming up as they come underneath the hotel, and this is between turn 13 and 14, and then they come back down behind the marina and behind the paddock area for Formula 1 and for where they are racing out of this weekend. Off camber on the exit. You've got to be careful. Cold rear tyres on those opening laps as the pace cars now slow them right down to make sure that everybody is in position, and the pace safety car now moving off to driver's left, as now it is under the control of our pace setter Ian Aguilera and Usman Magal. They can't overtake until they get to the line, and we'll see how these radicals start to, what we're hoping for is a good clean race, and but 19 cars out there, first race of the weekend. Let's see it all happen. Waiting for the lights to go out as they come down. Lights are out, and we are racing for round number 3, race 1 of the Golf Radical Cup for the 24-25 season. Up the inside, couple of touches out mid-corner.
It was a great start there from Julien Monet, who's already trying to close the door. Ibi Hadid as well got a fantastic start, moving all the way to the right-hand side of the track. Would have been the left-hand side for him. Great start there, but look at Alim Geshev all the way around the outside of Usman Magal, muscling his way through. He's reminiscing of what happened at the Radical World Finals, and he wants to do it exactly again because he cannot lose points to Ian Aguilera. The gap is only 19 points between these two, and he needs to start outscoring him. But a fantastic start so far, Phil.
Indeed. Now we're starting to run a little bit line astern down the long back straight. Slipstreaming is very important for these cars, and now they start to pull out. The track does narrow and kink to the left, up the inside. That's going to be a brave move. It's dirty on the inside, and he's just run way too deep into turn 6. Lost that position. He's in turn 7, and that was, we got a yellow flag at turn 6, so something has happened back in there. We'll just keep an eye on that, but they're all struggling with rear grip at the moment. The tyres are not up to temperature, ride height not at the right height, and they're all just making their way through. And then Aguilera goes through sector 2, and the battle for the top 3. They're starting to break away, Chris.
There's a good move there, and that is the 33 car that's gone
Jack Yang has gone around.
And that's very unfortunate because he started 4th. He was very high up the order as well. Didn't quite see what happened there. He was a little bit further back. It did look like he lost a few positions, but Ian Aguilera, Alim Geshev, Usman Magal, and Julien Monet has got a fantastic start by the looks of it. They're 23, started 8th, and is currently in 4th overall. Indeed, it's 23. Right behind him is Alexander Novichkov, who's having a great race. There's Ibi Hadid, who had a fantastic start there. Knew knew exactly what he wanted to do. He's got Suelio Almeida, who's actually been doing driver coaching and racing against him in the Radical World Finals, and the safety car has been deployed.
Yeah, that looks like we can't get to Jack Yang's car, so it looks like he's going to have to be moved off the track. Under safety car, no overtaking, down to find out as they go through. We're just having a look at all of the positions as they click over the start-finish line.
Now, I wonder, Phil, if him and Zig Furmeister had it coming together, because
Zig's dropped down as well, hasn't he?
If we look at the sector times, 51 through about 54-ish seconds, and Zig Furmeister had a 102.
Yeah.
So those two must have it coming together. They did start one row apart, fourth for Jack Yang and fifth for Zig Furmeister. So those two have had it coming together, and that's not what either of the two would have wanted. Ibi Hadid up in the 7th position. Fantastic start there for the Canadian, who started in 10th. Usman Magal loses out one position from a very, very aggressive Alim Geshev. He knew what he wanted to do at the beginning, and he knows how quick Usman is, especially around the Aspirina circuit when we start these races. He thought, no, I'm not going to give Usman the time. I'm going to do what he does to me every single round we come down here.
Oh, I got a shout out to Jahed Karim. He had a nasty spin. Oh, we got some debris on the circuit. The pace car has seen that, so there's a bit of debris that needs to be cleaned up, and he's going very much drivers left to get them, and all the drivers who are weaving are going to see that. And once they've passed under safety car, and we've got all the cars together, the track marshals will be out to recover. That was really windy here at the moment at the Yas Marina circuit, and a bit of building debris from somewhere else, not around here, has made its way onto the midway down the back straight. Bit of compression happening down there in turn 6. A few people very late on the brakes and locking up under the safety car, and there we can see the stranded car number 33 of Jack Yang's. They'll wait till all of the field has gone past, and then they'll go and get that car behind the barriers, and so that we can get going again. Clock continues to click down, 21 minutes to go. That's the start grid, but that's the start grid on the in front of the support paddock. Let's have a look at this incident that possibly happened down here in the... Well, this was the overtaking manoeuvre, and it was so deep that he actually ran out of grip. He couldn't turn the car, otherwise he would have spun it. And that was the change of the lead at turn 6.
And I think, sorry to cut you off there, Phil, but Jack Yang was there in 5th position, and you can see Julien Monet comes through, but Jack Yang didn't come through as his car's currently being recovered. So we didn't quite see exactly what happened. He wasn't really near anybody either, so I'm not sure how Zig Furmeister got caught up in this. Maybe he was just being very cautious.
Maybe he went around the outside to try and avoid a spinning car, and it just sort of had to change down through the gearbox and get going again, because obviously where he spun it was sort of on the racing line, because you go out wide there before you cut back left to take the right-hander behind it. But it's hopefully it won't be too long on the safety car. We've removed the car. Now we've got to remove the rubbish. Okay, car 18 is under investigation for start position. That is Kopp. So Marcel Kopp from Dream Racing Stable is under investigation at the moment.
And that's certainly something he doesn't want to have at the moment, because he's actually worked his way up the order quite well as well. He started in 16th. He's a lot further up the field. He's got a few cars behind him at the moment. Another one of our great starters there, Ibi Hadid there on the who just went through our shot there. Followed by there is Marcel Kopp there. Very easy to spot his car. He's got half blue, half green, or half yellow, whichever way you want to look at it like that. But a very easy car to spot here is Marcel Kopp. So Ian Aguilera leads from Alim Geshev. Our two championship rivals here who are vying for a championship. There is a heap of points actually between Alim Geshev and Usman Magal at the moment. Usman has not had the best start to the season they would like to have, as there is the debris that's been recovered. I think that's the first time I've actually seen debris being blown onto the Aspirina circuit in quite some time here. Is well, down the front straight we go, still behind the safety car. The clock continues to go down, keeping them warm in the tyres, because that is ever so important when it comes to a restart, especially when we haven't had a lot of racing going on.
Exactly. So ride height is a thing in these cars. When the tyres are not at pressure, that lowers the car down, and it bumps across the ground, and getting that ride height right, there's some debris being picked up on the start-finish straight as well. So a good track cleaning opportunity for our very, very hard-working marshals this weekend. They have got a heap of time up there. Safety car in this lap, so we're just heading down towards turn number 5 now, and we'll have the safety car coming in at the end of this lap to get racing underway.
be interesting to see what happens with Ian Aguilera as he tries to black Elim Geshev into the rest of the field. It's going to be a very tough man to do that, actually, because Elim knows this track very well, and he knows Elim as well. But let's have a look at the race start here of the Gulf Radical Cup.
So it's car number 18 that is under investigation for that start. That's Marcel Kopp in 16th position. Did he overtake before the line? Because there was a car on the inside there. Interesting. We'll leave that one to the stewards. They'll have a busy time of that. But, yeah. Did he... Yeah,
he was one of 2 cars that didn't get going at the beginning, remember, as well.
True.
Because Ian Aguilera didn't get it going and Marcel Kopp. So maybe it's 4. Marcel being passed there at the start before the race actually started. So maybe whoever's behind him, it would have been Yahid Karim, not past him. I mean, that's what he's under investigation for. So safety car in this lap. We're making our way through turn 9. And, well, Ian Aguilera will try his best to back Elim Geshev and the rest of the field up behind him. But I know it's not going to be easy. Elim knows exactly what he's doing. He's had the experience from last weekend out, the 24-hour. He's had that taste of endurance, but he also has taste of what it takes to win a championship here at the Yas Marina circuit.
Indeed, safety car now slowing things down, bunching the field back up together. The safety car has gone, and it is Ian Aguilera doing exactly what you told him to do, backing the field up. He wants Usman Magal to attack Elim Geshev, and he wants to get away from that battle. And Julien Monti, from that fantastic start, is right there with them, and it's all about looking in your mirrors, especially going down to turn 1, cold tyres, and then also down into turn 5 without that. Has he gone? Yes, he has. He has put the foot down and he has got a break, but Elim Geshev is going with him, and Magal is closer to Geshev than he would like. Julien Monti didn't pick that one up, and he's dropped a couple more car lengths back, but it is Ian Aguilera with a fantastic restart in the Gulf Radical Cup. 16 minutes to go, and he did that well, accelerating out of the turn 14. He just caught them a little bit unaware while they were still turning.
That was Perry Deramas there on the inside of Ibi Hadid, retakes that position back in the 69. Another one of the drivers to watch out for. He's progressively got better and better as the season has progressed. He did a few rounds with us last time out as well in the 23-24 season, but is pushing harder here as well. But Ibi Hadid has rapidly improved as well. Raced in Canada not too long ago on the streets of Toronto. Said it was a phenomenal experience, but racing with 40 cars was quite a challenge.
Especially when they're a one-make series. It's all about the driver and car setup. You know, that's what it is all about. And following quick drivers around and learning new stuff from a big field teaches you a lot more racecraft, and then you bring it back here, and it's about that advantage of doing something from a safety car restart, getting in the right position so that you can make those positions up when you're closer together. There's some exploratory moves down into turn number 6, but nobody doing anything just yet. Still waiting for tyres to come up to pressure.
And it looks like Ian Aguilera has not been able to drop Elim Geshev. He thought Usman might attack him a bit more, but it looks like he hasn't been able to break away just yet from those two behind him. Julien Monti, a fantastic drive from him so far. Great start as well for the Frenchman in 4th position, but now has to defend from Novichkov, who we know is very quick there in the number 8, and he'll be certainly one to watch out for, but he wants to be on the podium. We've seen him before this season on the podium once already, but he wants another taste of it. But more importantly, he likes to be on the top step, but he has to get through at least 4 more cars to do that, as Aguilera, Geshev and Magal all line astern.
Yeah, lovely to see. Now, we have classes running within this race as well. What are they?
So we've got overall, and we've got national as well, right? So the national is only for a handful. I know the last year's champion, Usman Magal, is the national champion, but he's not the defending champion anymore because he's been moved into a different category. Car 18 has just been slapped with a 10-second penalty for formation lap infringement. So I have a feeling, Phil, it was what we saw at the beginning where Marcel Kopp did not get going. He must have been passed by the car that was behind him. That means he should have started behind in front of that car and retaken his position. But in the national class, there's only about I think there's a 9-point gap between our top 2 at the moment, Zig Furmeister and Alexander Novikov. Actually, sorry, it's down to 7 points here coming into this round here. And Ian Aguilera has put a couple of car lengths between himself and
Elim Geshev. lap from the safety car. Also, Joel Strider got past Johnny Gazoom for 10th position on that lap, and Zig Vermeister getting past Yahid Karim for 16th position. So there was some positional changes after the safety car restart. Just over 13 minutes to go. I think everything's up to temperature now, and we'll start seeing the strategies come into play in these amazing looking cars around here in the sunlight at the Yas Marina circuit.
And a 1:58.755 for Ian Aguilera last time round, 1.3 seconds ahead of Elim Geshev at the moment.
That was 1.1 second quicker than Elim Geshev's last lap time. That's a massive gap in these cars.
It certainly is, but look who's going quicker this time round. 24.801 through sector 1, a 54.87 through sector 2. He is 0.2 of a second faster, but that's not close enough to bring that gap down. It's now 1.1 seconds separate the two of them, and Usman Magal is not going to let Elim get away easily.
No, he's not, and that timing, we'll have a look at what Elim Geshev can do. Fastest in sector 1, fastest in sector 2 at the moment. He's got to get that 1.3 second gap, which was only about 0.4 of a second on the previous lap. So he obviously didn't have the car underneath him. You said he had some issues this morning as well, so maybe not really getting the car in the pocket that he needs it in for this race.
And the team did a fantastic job to piece that car back together again and get it up and running and having everything fixed the way Elim likes it to be as well. The team are working diligently. I was speaking to James Winslow about it earlier today as well. We saw a lot of it happening there and then, but it looks like the car is back up to the pace that Elim wants it to be, but now he drops to 1.6 seconds. So even though he was faster through sector 1 and sector 2,
sector 3
he's dropped back.
Well, he picked up, he did it on that lap. Elim Ian did a 58.371, 58.595 for Elim. So that's only 0.2 separating them on that lap, but still putting Elim further back. 0.7 back to Usman Magal, car 21 in third position. Julian Moniz dropping away from this battle and coming under pressure from Novikov now fourth and fifth. And then Amir Freslin 1.1 seconds behind them. 1.4 back to Perry Damas. 1.8 back to Ibi Haddad with Greg Gorski in very close company there, looking at the back. Ooh.
That is Usman Magal in the 21. So he's had drama before with this car, and he's actually raced in a different car this season because, of course, Relentless Racing being run by Rick Parrish, who is racing this weekend as well in the 20, and that's not what Usman Magal wanted here at all. He is one of our 3 drivers, well, potentially in contention for the top step of the podium at the end of the season, but he's got quite a lot to do it with, and this might be another DNF for Usman Magal, which is not what he wants here at all. This, of course, gives Elim Geshev a bit of breathing room, and now that means Julien Monet, for the first time this season, is in contention for his first podium finishing position.
Oh, wow. Absolutely brilliant. Now, under investigation, we saw that 33 and 26 changing positions. Well, it's under investigation now. 20, was it... 26 and 33. So that was Jack Yang, and you're correct, Zig Vermeister. So there was a coming together at turn number 6.
And that's interesting why Zig Vermeister's dropped so far back, but he's now clawing his way through the field. Usman Magal, of course, dropping through the push. Johnny Kazoom back inside the top 10. But very unfortunate for the Pakistani driver there, as there is a yellow flag down at turn 6.
That's for Usman.
This also takes away a
most definitely
taking opportunity now as well for a lot of the drivers as well, because turn 6, as you said before, we've already seen some interesting moves being made or thought about, but this takes away an opportunity for Elim Geshev to attack Ian Aguilera.
It's one of the best overtaking opportunities because it's one of the hardest braking points on the circuit as they come down towards it now, and it's really, as they've got that car out of the way and the yellow flag has been withdrawn. Usman Magal, being a very sensible race driver, he pulled it up into a position where he knew we could get behind the barrier without pulling the safety car out.
Great move there from Amir Faisalin as well on his compatriot there, through down on turn 6, but Alexander Novikov wants that position back. He wants more points in his championship hunt here. They're going to go side by side, but Amir Faisalin knows his track very well. He's been doing this for a very long time, and he has a champion in his ear as well, telling him exactly what he needs to do to keep Novichkov behind him. And let's see how long Faison can actually do this for, because Novichkov, even though it's his first season in the championship, has been very quick indeed. This is allowing Julien Monet a bit of breathing room, and it looks like Ibi Hadid is all over the back of Novichkov as well. He's been released to the clutches of Ibi Hadid, and here he goes again. He wants to try around the outside. So now Novichkov has to look in front and behind him, and that makes his life a lot harder.
Novichkov has to be careful too. He did track limits there on the exit of turn number 9, and he's going to have to be careful. He doesn't want too many track limits infringements because he'll get a penalty from that. So that running wide there from Novichkov did cause the car behind to get right up. Well, he's under the rear wing as they head down now, and
8 minutes left on the clock, Phil, as we come across the line now. 1.8 seconds of the gap up front, but look how far back Julien Monet is at the moment, in 3rd position overall. He's going to be wanting to stay there as long as possible. Now, we do know a lot of the teams do have communication between the pit wall and the drivers, but some don't. So there might be a little message somewhere out there for Julien Monet. Keep pushing, stay where you are. This is your time to shine. This is it. This is where you get your first podium. And he's going to concentrate, he's going to focus and hope what happens behind him keeps happening. As on the inside looks Perry Deramas of Alexander Novichkov, but he shuts the door on him through turn 5 and will continue in 5th position down the back straight.
Zig Vermeister has been handed a penalty. We've got an accident down at turn 1.
That looks like the 7, if I'm not mistaken, of Yahid Kardim. Now, how has he done that? Because that right front doesn't...
Well, have a look at the skid marks that's coming there. He looks like he may have locked up under brakes and gone straight into the barrier as the track moves around. He gives the thumbs up to the marshals, but that's going to bring a safety car out with 7 minutes to go. Let's have a look at this, because this is really interesting. He's just locked the rear brakes up, and the back end's come around on him.
And that's very unfortunate. A new set of tyres for him as well for this race here, so that's why he was dropped back to the back of the field. But yellow flag now at turn 1, and I assume this would bring out the safety car once again.
6.5 minutes to go.
And looking at, we're a little bit further down. I actually thought we had a shuffle up front as well, because we've got different driver. 26 car, though, has been handed a 10-second penalty.
Zig Vermeister, that for the accident with 33 on the opening lap down at turn number 6. And this is now safety car with 6:17 to go. Now, normally, if we can get this done, we may get one racing lap at the end of the recovery, because there is a recovery right in front of that car, just towards Shams Tower. So they'll be able to get to the vehicle and get it out of there if all 4 wheels, if they can roll it. If they can't roll it, we're going to have to put a flatbed out there. That's not going to be a quick thing to do, or they may just crane it out of the way.
And for Sean Simpson, I think he's too happy about this. 5 cars, the first time Dream Racing have had that many cars on track. He was absolutely delighted to have that many, and was really hunting down for some silverware to take home this weekend. He might have to try again in race number 2. Good news for Elim Geshev, because he's closed that gap up. Great news for Julien Monet, because now he's in contention for the top step of the podium. But of course, with a safety car, there is no passing, is there? Ian Aguilera is going to want this safety car to be exactly 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Exactly.
He doesn't want to come in at all. He doesn't want the car clear. He just wants to stay where he is, because he's going to score maximum points over his championship rival, Elim Geshev, who will sit behind him during this safety car period. Julien Monet as well in contention here for a podium. But if we do get this race up and going again, we're going to have a fantastic battle, not just for the top step of the podium, but for all 3 steps of the podium.
Yes.
Because we've got Ian Aguilera, we've got Elim Geshev, Julien Monet, Amir Faison, Alexander Novichkov, Perry Deramas, Ibi Hadid, Greg Gorski, Jos Strider, and Johnny Kazoum, and the rest of the field all bunched up.
Yeah, indeed. This is going to be pretty exciting if we go back to green flag racing, which could be 1 lap.
It could be, and it's going to be one epic last lap, isn't it, here at the Golf Radical Cup, who always put on a fantastic display, and I'm pretty sure Martin Hope and Fred Jacobs are absolutely delighted to have this many cars and this much action on track as well here at the Yas Marina circuit. Both of them are working very hard during the off-season to get such a mammoth grid as well, especially after having the Radical World Finals being right here on our home circuit. But let's have a quick look again at what happened into Yahid Kardim. Like you said, Phil, brakes lock up at the rear, and unfortunately it dives off onto the right-hand side of the track there, and I think there's another set of tyres gone there for Yahid Kardim, unfortunately, and that is the reason why we have the safety car on track, leading Ian Aguilera, Elim Geshev and Julien Monet around the track here at the Yas Marina circuit, with just under 4 minutes remaining on the clock.
Well, given their lap times on a green flag lap is around the 2-minute mark, we've just sort of got to look at when we're going to pull the safety car in, or if we can clear that wreckage off of the circuit as the tyres are cooling down yet again. So the same tyres that they qualify, they have to do race number 1 and race number 2. And if we get the 7 out again, it'll be another 4 tyres for him and some body parts, which will be another grid penalty for that. Now, for this race, the grid for race 2 is set from the finishing positions of this race because they re-qualify again for the Enduro race tomorrow afternoon. Coming your way. Stay up late for us for that one, folks, because tomorrow evening we're going racing at 10 o'clock.
We thought tonight's second race was late, wasn't it? 7:30.
7:30.
Race number 2, local time, GST, if you're watching around the world. But this is going to be a fantastic last lap if we do get it going here. Because we've got a lot of drivers. We've got a lot of drivers in contention for a podium who haven't seen the podium this season yet. And they'll be raring and ready to go. But let's have a quick look when we go through turn 1. There is the recovery effort underway. Phil, do you think we're going to get one lap of racing here?
No, because the clock will run down before they get back to the start-finish line again, because obviously we're under safety car laps at the moment, and that is a lot slower than race laps. It's 3 minutes 45 to get around on that first safety car lap. So it's basically when they decide to do it is when that clock ticks over. That will then trigger the last lap. So if they do it this time around, it'll get triggered on this will be their last time across the start-finish line. But I'll leave that up to Fred Jacobs to work that out in his abacus, because that's what he's going to need to do. It doesn't look like there's much debris down there, but he's knocked 3 corners off that car, which is not what you want to do. These cars are, well, they're a lot easier to rebuild than, say, a touring car, because it's all manufactured parts, and you can change front end, rear end. But he's only got a few hours, and the Dream Racing, well, Sean's going to be busy.
He certainly is.
Down there.
My team's going to be busy there, getting that car pieced back together as well.
And normally what happens with Radical, that other teams will jump in and help. And make things work so we can get the cars back out on the grid.
It is a fantastic community here in the Golf Radical Cup as well. Everybody is there to help anybody out whenever they need it. We've seen cars being shared, we've seen parts, we've seen tyres, engines, you name it, it's been shared. It's a fantastic community here with the Golf Radical Cup, and well, it's one of their ethoses here as well. Yes, there are rivals on track, but in the end of the day, they're all friends, aren't they?
Indeed, and it's been Barry Hope who set this season up and handed it over to Martin Hope a few years ago and set the championship up. It's been one of the success series here in the Middle East. It's the longest running sports car series here, and they've done an absolutely amazing job. It's hard to get drivers, but with the influx of Radical releasing this latest version, it is a real weapon of a car, and it's really good to drive. It's slicks and wings, a proper piece of kit. And Chris, you're going to head off and do the podium, and he'll be back later on today to do race number 2 as the clock ticks down to the last 15 seconds. We are at turn 9. I'm just looking at the safety car board to see if what's going to happen, of whether we're going to cross and get the checkered flag, or whether we're going to bring the safety car in and they green it to the checkered flag, or get one more lap. We're not quite sure yet. Don't have that information to hand from race control, as the leaders now making their way down alongside the hotel through turns 12 and 13. And the safety car looks like it's gone. The safety car has gone. Ian Aguilera slowing the field down. So the safety car is coming in this lap as we are line astern. 16 cars still running out of the 19 starters. Jared Karim, Usman Miguel and Jack Yang not finishing at this stage. Ian Aguilera warming the tyres up. Geshev behind him. Julian Moni right on the rear bumper, or under the rear wing of Geshev. Amir Fezalan behind that as they make their way down to the penultimate corner, turn 15. And here he goes. Aguilera's got the foot down. Heading down around turn 16. He's got the jump. And it's Novikov who's got all the things happening. Checkered flag. That's the way they cross the finish. Ian Aguilera, Alim Geshev and Julian Moni. Our top three. Wow. An interrupted race for round number 3, race 1 of the Golf Radical Cup. Provisional standings at the moment is Ian Aguilera, Alim Geshev second, Julian Moni in third, Amir Freslin in fourth, Alexander Novikov in 5th position, Perry Demes in 6th, Ibi Hadid in 7th, Greg Gorski 8th, Joel Strider 9th, Johnny Kazum in 10th, Zig Furmeister with a penalty hanging over him at the moment, a 10-second penalty, so he may move from that position. Then Alexander Chichava in 12th, Pascal Bachmann in 13th, Rick Parrish 14th, Marcel Kopp in 15th, and our last runner is Ben Curry in 16th. Jahid Karim, unfortunately, with that accident on lap 8, has taken him out. And then Usman Magol retiring on lap 5 with a car issue down at turn 6. And then Jack Yang, that contact with Zig Furmeister on the opening lap. And we'll see if those cars can come back. Race number 2 coming your way around about 7:20 local time this evening here at the Yas Marina circuit, as the cars make their way around turn 9, heading back to Parc Ferme and the podium. Best lap time of that race was set by Ian Aguilera, a 1:58.371 on lap number 5. But the interruptions for the safety car and some rubbish on the circuit has sort of hasn't let this race get into a rhythm. But you need to be there at the finish, and Ian Aguilera was. 0.3 of a second to Alim Geshev, and then 0.8 of a second to Julian Moni, our top 3. That's car number 17. Running out of the Ian Aguilera, running out of the Raw Motorsport stable. There'll be a happy campers down there. They'll welcome him back into Parc Ferme. And that number 1 board looking very, very nice indeed, sitting in front of that beautiful number 17. Yeah, that's number 1 position. Well done to Ian Aguilera. Leading the championship at the moment on 101 points. Second place, Alim Geshev. Currently second in the championship on 98 points. Happy team down there with Alim Geshev from TTR Racing. And then Julian Moni in the 3rd position from Raw Motorsports. Great comeback from that. Julian Moni starting down in 8th position. What a drive. Absolute brilliant drive. There's Alim Geshev in car number 77. Really didn't get a chance to attack Ian Aguilera. Qualified in 3rd. And unfortunately for Usman Magal, who was on P2 on that and 3rd in the championship, it's a DNF for him. Not good way to start his weekend. Drivers will be heading up to meet Chris on the podium very, very shortly. Very happy team. So Ian Aguilera from the Radical World Finals, winner of the Pro 1500 category. Competed in many Golf Radical Cup last season, the Ultimate Cup Series in LMP3 in 2024, the 2024 Leisure European Series, Michelin Le Mans Cup in 2024, and there is the provisional finishes. Ian Aguilera first from Alim Geshev in 2nd position, Julian Moni in 3rd, Amir Freslin in 4th, Alexander Novikov in 5th position, and Perry Dermas in 6th, Ibi Hadid in 7th, Greg Gorski 8th, Joel Strider in 9th, and Johnny Kazum rounding out the top 10. Zig Furmeister with a penalty waiting for him in 11th position. Alex Chichar in Chichava in 12th. Pascal Bachmann 13th. Rick Parrish in 14th. Marcel Kopp in 15th. And in 16th position, it is Barry Curry. Greensel will be driving in the endurance race. Jared Karim, DNF for him in 17th. Usman Magal, once again, retirement on lap 5 in 18th position. And Jack Yang in 19th position. Unfortunately got hit by Zig Furmeister on lap number 1. As the drivers now making their way up onto the podium. Alim Geshev then in second position for TT Racing, our platinum winner at the Radical World Finals. He raced last weekend in the 24-hour series as well. Continental Racing by Simpson Motorsport in their Audi. Competed in the 2024 Golf Radical Cup. And also raced in the Ultimate Cup Series European Endurance Prototype Cup in 2024, the European Ligier Series, Haggerty Radical Cup UK in 24, and all after he won the Radical World Finals. So he'll be after he'll be after to try and get a little bit better race number 2 and race number 3 to get that. And Julian Monty, well, what a great drive from 8th up into 3rd position. Let's have a look at what Mr. Monty has been up to. Golf Radical Cup last year as well, and in 2021. So 19 races under Julian Monty's belt. But that was a great drive from his 8th position start up to a podium position. Amir Freslin finished in 4th position. Another one of our TT Racing. 2023, he was 3rd in the Golf Radical Cup. Competed in the 2024 Asian Le Mans Series in LMP3. Golf Radical Cup also across to the UK for the 2024 Haggerty Radical Cup in the SR3. LMP3 in the 23 Asian Le Mans Series. 3rd in the 23 Golf Radical Cup. 23 Radical World Finals in the Pro 1500 category. 6th position there. Golf Radical Cup again. He's been in the Golf Radical Cup since 2018. So a great history in the Radical Championship for Amir Freslin. Our 4th place. And Alexander Novichov finished in 5th. So we're just trying to get the drivers to the podium at the moment, and we will bring you the podium presentation very, very shortly. And there's our drivers waiting patiently to get out on the podium. And there's Seb's going in the lift with them as well as they head down. A lovely shot of Ian Aguilera, Alim Geshev and Julian Monty jumping in the lift. But we'll get back to you once we get... while we're waiting for that, let's have a look at the highlights of round 3, race 1 of the Golf Radical Cup. And there we have the race finishers. We're still waiting for them to be up on the podium for the Radical Middle East Cup. Here we go. We're finding more places for them to be. Chris is down there with all of the trophies. We'll be back out onto the podium very, very shortly. What an interesting race that was, punctuated by 2 safety cars, 3 cars not finishing the race, and everybody keen. And they've got to be careful this weekend. They've got 3 races they need to get through to make it all happen. In the Formula One green room, where all good Radical drivers go, as Chris with his bright flowery shirt this weekend. I can't miss him at all. And as he heads out towards the podium, we won't be too long until we'll have the podium ceremonies underway. Don't forget to join us for race number 2 coming your way around about 7:20 p.m. This evening for race number 2, another 25-minute race, and then tomorrow evening, Sunday evening at 10 p.m. we'll be there to do our final race, a 45-minute mini enduro with a mandatory pit stop, and you can have second drivers as well.
Check, check. So, ladies and gentlemen, our event race 1, round 3, Radical Cup. Time now for the presentation. First of all, let's bring up in third place. Please welcome Money. And he'll take a very long walk there to the podium. It's quite far away from the cool-down room, that's for sure. Next up, though, we'll move on to second position in race 1 of round 3 for the Golf Radical Cup. Please welcome Alim Gashev. He's quite used to this long walk here at the Yas Marina circuit to make his way to the podium. And ladies and gentlemen, now to the top step of the podium. He was under pressure at the beginning, but he kept his cool. Please welcome Ian Aguilera. And of course, taking the long walk there too, his another victory here in the Golf Radical Cup. It's been a phenomenal season for him so far, save for the Radical World Finals. And we have 3 trophies to hand out here, of course, to our top 3. We invite Mohammed Al-Hashmi from Ithara to help us present the trophies. He's the track and motorsport manager, of course, and he'll hand over the 3rd place trophy to Julien Monet. We invite him back to present the 2nd place trophy to Alim Gashev. And last but not least, 1 more trophy, and it, of course, is the winner's trophy, which will be handed over to Ian Aguilera. And that wraps up the podium and presentation here for race 1, round 3 of the Golf Radical Cup. They'll be back in action later on today, about 7:20 here local time, for their 2nd sprint race. And of course, tomorrow we'll have our very exciting 45-minute enduro. Be sure not to miss it.
For the Radical World Finals at Yas Marina, the green flag's flying, and already, look, what is that? 5